Guys, welcome to the show. Today we have Blake Erickson in the house. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for being here, my man.
Thanks for having me.
That was
brother.
a terrible fist bump.
It was last.
So Blake is the co-author with Dr. Benjamin Hardy of The Science of Scaling, and keynote speaker. You are the co-founder of scaling.com, correct? And tell us a little bit about the story, brother.
Where do you want to start, man?
Let's start with let's jump into how you got here, like a short summary.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I assume, like most of your audience, I started in the same game. And so when I was 20 years old, I got back from serving a mission. And I fell in love with talking with people. One of the things that one of my mentors taught me was like, hey, pay attention to what flows naturally to you. And things that take your energy, stay away from, and things that give you energy, lean into. And I remember being on my mission. I was like, dude, I could literally be out from 9 to 9 all day talking in the street, and I just don't lose energy. I just love it. And so when I got home, I was like, man, I got to figure out how to leverage that gift. So quickly saw the opportunity door to door, had a couple buddies that went out. I kind of had this ego towards it where I was like, I'm different. I'm going to go start a company, not going to do door to door. And then my buddies went out and crushed it, and I'm here making like $13 an hour. And I was like, all right, I'll do door to door. So sold for Aptive Environmental in 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Same company. What year? 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. That was right after I left.
Okay. Rad. Changed my life, dude. Door was so much fun. And just like I get super fascinated and obsessed about learning and development. And the 5 months of learning and development of going door to door was like so exponential that I just got this craving of like, cool, man, I want to keep learning at that clip. So I had a really fun summer. Went out, recruited 40 guys the next summer, quadrupled my income. My third summer made $1 million and just like kept growing. And I just fell in love with recruiting. And I loved just the game of getting someone to an opportunity that I thought could change their life. And I was so convicted. I was like, this has changed my life so much. And I felt the greatest way I could serve humanity was helping other people come in, learn the skill set of sales, build wealth, be in an amazing environment, have great mentorship, and just self-actualize. And so I did that for 4 years up until 2024. And prior to my 5th summer, I was like, okay, my learning has started to max out. And some of you that are listening to this, you've probably experienced that before, where it's like, man, I can only hit so many doors. I can only be in so many recruiting meetings. And I was like, cool. So I had a kind of a fork in the road. I was like, well, I could go start my own thing in the space. I could keep doing it, or I could get out. And so I started just contemplating all those different paths. And I was prayerful about it, and I received an impression. That was a really odd impression, to be honest with you, because it came out of nowhere. And I'm not this guy that like God just speaks to all the time and just says, do this, do that. It's rare. But I got this impression that said, hey, you should call Benjamin Hardy. And Benjamin Hardy was a man that I had met 4 years previous to this event, three years previous to this event. And we would talk like every 6 to 8 months. And we were friends, but it wasn't like we were homies.
Right.
And I just remember calling him. I was like, hey, felt an impression to call you. And I just want to be an asset to you. So if there's any way I could, you let me know. He's like, I'm interested. And so he kind of just opened this door. And I was like, well, cool. Let me like really make that door get as open as possible.
Get his attention.
So over the next 6 months, we kind of began deciding and planning about building a business together where we could take his incredible thought. And now I've been around him the last 2 years. I believe that he's the most brilliant business mind in the world. I've never seen anyone think like him. And so the original premise was, how do we get this thought and just spread it to impact as many people as possible in the game of business? And then additionally, I believe that the greatest way to impact lives is by doing so through the vehicle business. Because if you can impact the founder, you impact the employees. If you impact the employees, then you impact everyone that they serve. And so it was just this exponential way. It was like, man, there is no better opportunity to go impact the world. And I'm so passionate about just helping people scale. It's just what I've done my whole life. It's what I've done my mission, what I've done door to door. And so just all the stars aligned. And so we built what now is scaling.com. Bought the domain January 2025, launched May of 2025, and we're here 15 months later, we advised 550 companies. And, man, we're just having the time of our life.
Wow, look at that. So what's the story been, again, summarizing, like, of scaling that side of the business? Like you said, we were talking pre-show about speaking events.
Yeah.
Like, what's been the thing for you guys from running ads, speaking events? What's worked?
Yeah, we've done it all, man. We've made a lot of mistakes, and there's a lot of things that haven't worked. But the one thing that's always stayed tried and true is this book, dude. And what happens is we try to shortcut the journey, and so we try to actually get people to come without reading the book.
Yeah.
Where we get them like straight to an interview, or we get them a VSL, or we get them a webinar, and every time we try to shortcut it, dude,
it doesn't convert the same.
Our cat goes like this. And every time we just lean in and play a little bit of a longer journey game, our cat goes like this. And so after literally negotiating with ourselves so many different times and getting off the path, I believe we're finally back to a point where it's like, dude, we are just going to go put millions of dollars into this and get this into as many of the right hands as possible. And when people read it, and I encourage you to read this, you literally, your paradigm shifts so dramatically. You're like, man, I just need more of it.
I love it. So what's the vertical to get that book in more hands? Like, what's been the go-to?
Yeah, good question. So we negotiated with our publisher to let us distribute the audiobook for free. And so our sell to them was, hey, if we can actually give it out for free, I promise we'll actually make you more money because more people will buy the book. And so we just give the book out, hardcover and audiobook, for free to anybody that wants it, that's a business owner. And so we run ads to a free audiobook. They just give us their email, and then we give them the audiobook for free. And if you want the physical copy, we'll even pay for the shipping, and we'll ship it to you for free.
How much is the shipping, the actual net cost on that?
It costs like $12 to $15 per book.
Wow.
Shipping, book, etc.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's the lead.
So that's been the vertical, man. That's been the one thing that is tried and true.
I love that. So with the audience here on Rainmakers podcast being mostly salespeople, some entrepreneurs, team leaders, what do you see one of the main mistakes guys make when going from sales rep to a sales leadership position?
This is so good. So I think about my experience. It'd be like treating your kids all the same. And what happens with most people when you go from sales rep to sales leader, you expect everybody to kind of be like you, and that's just not the reality. You'll quickly learn in leadership that everybody is so different. You all tick differently. Your psychology is so different. The way that you operate is so different than how they operate. And so a good leader has the ability to actually stay open and psychologically flexible to recognizing that everyone ticks differently, and I just have to identify how to lead to the way that they tick, rather than most salespeople that are phenomenal come in and just lead one way, which is the way that they know. And that's the number one most dangerous thing that you can do as a leader, is lead only one way, which is just the way that you know, because you leave out 95% of the people, and a lot of people don't respond effectively to that.
That's true. We've made it a very intentional practice to focus on one-on-ones with the reps. It's so critical to understand their side, their story. Because if you don't, I mean, it's obvious. Like, you can't cater. You can't, you try to make a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah, you just make assumptions all day long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, what if you're trying to help somebody, grow from that position and actually build something valuable? And let's say it's building a team, building a sales org like me. What's the foundation you'd outline?
I'm going to try to distill it to three. So one I'd start with a vision. So I'll never forget the day when I'm listening to a podcast of Todd Peterson with Casey Baugh. And Casey said, "Todd, what do you regret?" You remember this? And Todd's answer, this is Todd Peterson, who's played at the biggest level, period. Yeah. No one has yet to play bigger than him. He said, "Casey, my biggest regret is I just wish that I dreamed bigger, faster."
Wow.
And that was so impactful coming from him.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I think most people, I bet you and I could also agree, when we started, I just wish that I had a bigger vision. Rather than thinking, oh, let's go get 100 reps, I wish I was like, dude, let's go get 1,000 the next 2 years,
Yeah.
And because you really become the ceiling. Your psychology becomes the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so, one, if you're about to make the transition or you're just starting that transition, start the biggest you possibly can. Secondly, get your freaking ego out of the way, because I'm telling you, there's not going to be a greater stumbling block in your success and your scale than your ego, especially in this game that we're playing.
Yeah.
Because everyone around you has the exact same problem. So if you want to be different, if you want to stick out, go be ego less. Go have some humility, and I promise you, you're going to go 10 times faster.
Where do you see the ego? Let me stop you on that second point. I agree. Where do you see the ego inhibiting people coming from sales or just in any business or endeavor?
Yeah, most people are more interested in looking good than being good. So a lot of what we do, a lot of the actions that we take, it's taken towards the goal of how is this going to help me look good, rather than what if everything that you did was just, man, is this going to help me become world class? Is this going to help me become one of one? Is this going to help me become best in the world? And if a lot more of your actions were derived towards that end, you'd become so much more exceptional. But so much of what we do is all about looking good.
Give me an example of like what you're talking about.
So for example, like how many of us buy things just because we want to look good?
Oh, of course.
Rather than
yeah.
what if we reinvested that back in the business?
Yeah.
We'd probably be a lot more further. How many times do we spend time on things? Like I had an era where I was putting out a ton of content on social media solely to look good. And I didn't even have the right to do it yet, honestly. I didn't have the credibility yet to even go do that, but I wanted to look good. And I wanted like the aura, and I wanted people to be able to look to me as a credible source before I was ever good first.
Yeah.
And so I would just recommend go be exceptional and then go do all the other marketable things after. Most people try to flip it.
Yeah. Yeah. Lamborghinis, nice cars, watches, anything like that. And outside of that too, like for me, it's been, I've gone heavy on self-development, probably too heavy of like amount invested.
Good.
Yeah. Super, super heavy. And, yeah, I'd say it's the highest return on investment I've made, right? Like we haven't liquidated a company of 50 million yet, but like I know because of that investment in me, it will compound over time.
Yeah.
What's the third thing?
Well, I just want to tell you how impressed I am with you, bro. Like when I
buddy.
listen to you speak, I'm like, this man has invested in himself and is so credible.
Thanks,
so
bro.
it's paid off for whatever it is. Let me give you one more ego thing here.
Yeah.
When I think about scale and door to door, oftentimes the biggest inhibitor is we want to be the guy.
Yeah.
What if you didn't have to be the guy?
Yeah.
Like, what if you were actually willing, and I'm talking to myself because I wasn't willing to do this once upon a time. What if I was actually willing to bring in people that were better than me?
Yeah.
How much bigger might org have been?
Yeah.
What if I was actually willing to give ownership and autonomy to other people to do things that they're actually probably better than me at? How much bigger would we have been? And so, it's a different form of abundant, but approach your business in an abundant way where you actually are willing to get yourself out of the way and not make yourself the main thing and the centerpiece. I promise you're going to go so far because it opens you up for collaboration.
I love that.
Thoughts on that?
I can agree 100%. So I've seen where I used to just like ride the wave of people to my horn, you know, and I realized it kept me stuck, you know, and so I started actually getting pissed off when people would praise me and deflect it, not to play this humble card, but to like, no, we need to duplicate this. I need to find people who are better than me. I know they're out there. And so my record was 32 in a month, self-gen solar. Nobody's done that, but we had a guy just clear 54 this last month.
No way.
Yeah.
That's insane.
In Utah.
Wow.
It's nuts, yeah.
Your guy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Taylor's an absolute savage, but
Shout out Taylor.
Shout out Taylor and Keaton, the leadership, the setters. It's a team play. Because of a system and organization, he was able to perform at that level because of what we've collectively built. Pretty cool.
So good. So good. 3 is give without expecting to get, and that may sound cliche.
No, I understand.
But 99% of us know it, and we just don't do it. Stephen R. Covey once said, to know and not do is to not know.
Yeah.
And so the reality is we all know we should get into relationships to give. We know we should go add value. It's all cliche. But the reality is we're so selfish. We're always, doing the numbers in our mind. Cool, I just made that much off that deal. I recruited this person, so I just made X.
What's my ROI on it? Yeah.
It's like, dude, what if everything you did was just derived from the thought of, I'm going to give so much where people literally think that they're stealing from me because I'm just giving so much. Imagine how fast that you would grow. And it's reverse psychology, but I'm telling you, if you just go get results, if you just go become exceptional, you just go help other people do the same, you'll never have to worry about money another day in your life.
Amen.
Versus the person that only worries about money, bro, they're going to worry about money the rest of their life.
Yeah. It affects selling. It affects leadership. I've seen it in so many different ways. I remember being mentored by a guy who was mentored by Tony Robbins, and this guy's worth over 100 mil, but he's not the same level as Tony, obviously. Not many are.
Yeah.
But I remember years later thinking, like, I was on his jet with him multiple times and just getting mentored by him. And years have passed, and he's nowhere near where this guy, like Tony's at, right? And the trajectory's not even there either. And, the advice was invaluable to me. And I thought about, like, what's the difference? They're two great human beings, right? But the difference with Tony was the heart, thick and through. And he lives by that mentality of just give. And you get around him, and you can feel that energy. You know, it's not transactional. And I've been to Cardone. I don't mind saying this on camera, like, I'll just hit it, right? I've been to his events. I don't even need to say it, right? Like, different vibe. Let's just say that. Different energy. And so I get convicted talking about that, you know, saying, hey, here's one of the top sales trainers on the planet, literally practicing what he preaches of shoving it down your throat, you know, and then literally manipulating you to buy it, feel guilty, right? So, the principle of, like, I believe the more we give, the more we get, right? And so part of the game is, okay, it's the heart's part of it, but you got to have the skill set, the ability to actually bring massive value.
Yeah.
So on that, like, how can somebody, what's been your experience of, like, developing and becoming more valuable? We could say mentorship, we could say reading books, we could say proximity events, but from your experience of teaching it and training people, what would you say?
I'd say be willing to pay the price and don't try to skip grades. Here's what I mean by that. We obviously live in a generation where it's like, dude, how do we just get to the next thing, right? Like, you get into college, how do I graduate to get to my job? Or I'm a rookie salesman. I just want to be a team lead.
Yeah.
Or I just want to be a regional. I just want to be a millionaire. I made 6 figures. How do I make 7? You know? And so there's usefulness in that. Where there's not usefulness is when you try to skip the price that has to be paid in order to go through who you must become to get there.
Yeah, and that's slow.
The person I was at 6 figures was very different than the person I was at 7 figures. And the process and the price that I paid was so substantial. It truly was a 10x price to get from 6 to 7. And so,
what did that look like for you?
Dude,
Next summary on it.
I mean, I just remember for 3 years having literally 16 recruiting meetings a day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 10 p.m. Like,
grinding work.
It just
in the
was
business.
normal. I was thinking about it this week. It just was normal. I remember coming home because now I work till like 6 or 6:30. And it's weird to me to come home before 10. And it just was the price. I'm not even like saying, oh, it's so hard. It wasn't hard. It just was what accepted. So people try to skip the price and they try to skip grades. They try to take the shortcuts. Like, no, dude, there's a price that everybody has to be paid. That's just the fundamental price. Do it as quick as you can. Be as effective and efficient as possible. Utilize leverage as much as you can. But you can't skip the price because the price is the price you have to pay in order to become the person you need in order to get the result.
Yeah. You know how they say people often overestimate how much they can do in 1 year, but drastically underestimate what they can do 5 or 10? I think this lack of patience or delay of gratification plagues our day, like especially millennials, Gen Z, and like plagues. The grass is greener. They're like, okay, hey, I didn't make it to a millionaire by 30 or 25, whatever it is. And so they try to switch opportunities because somebody is marketing and pulling at them, hitting on a pain point, right?
Yeah.
And but really the game is played, and it compounds as you put time in yourself. You grow. You put in the volume, you put in the reps. So for you, a lot of the development was putting not just like books or mentorship. It was doing the thing.
Do the thing.
Grinding.
You can't escape the thing, bro.
Yeah.
You
can't. I agree. So. Let's talk on recruiting real quick.
Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite.
What do you love about it?
Oh, man, it's such a thrill. I was on a recruiting call when you came out and saw me, actually. Hiring a recruiter to come in.
I totally threw you off.
I'm used to it, dude. It was good. So Naval once said, the team you build is the company you build. That might sound like so simple, like, oh yeah, obviously. But the team you build is the company you build. And so the highest lever and the most powerful lever you can pull in order to scale your company is by the talent you bring on, period. And I also believe that talent is not created equal. If I can go get Nick on the doors, Nick is equivalent to getting 25 rookies on the doors. Makes sense? Mm-hmm. And so when you start seeing talent as a power law, or what we would call as exponential rather than just like this linear thing, then it starts getting really exciting, because if you can go get a really big player to come in, that can literally, one person could 3, 4, 5x your business. Yeah. And so it's fun to play a game that has such exponential returns, and that's what recruiting is. Like, if you can go get A-level players, you go get exponential returns. If you go get somebody that brings in a ton of leverage, you can go get exponential returns, and then vice versa. If you go bring someone that brings in a ton of cancer, it could be an exponential decrease in where you're trying to go. And so that game is just so fun, and learning and how to influence people to come to that. I
know you're big on this. What do you train with what to look for, identifying an A player?
Yeah, phenomenal. So two things that I categorize everything as. On one side is culture fit, which I call character and alignment. And then on the other side is results, which is capability and performance. And so between those two things, in my opinion, it summarizes everything. What many of us have experienced in door-to-door is we go get somebody that gets incredible results.
Yeah, it's just high competence, low culture.
Horrible culture.
Yeah, it's backfires.
Super high ego. And so the results don't mean anything at the end of the day, because, it's a net negative. Yeah. And then vice versa, you go get an amazing guy, but he doesn't have results and it just doesn't work. And so when you can go build a synergistic team of a ton of people with high culture, and I bet this is what's happening on your team, high culture with high results, you can go perform with 30 people what you used to perform and get results out with 100 people. Yeah. And so that's when it gets really fun, because also it's much more scalable when you have lesser people creating higher
less
returns.
Headache. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. It's been a huge thing for us. And then also adopting the rule of 7, just promoting leaders and making sure everybody's seen, heard, and understood, Okay, so you have the same framework that I go off of, but just different terminology of like high culture, high competence. Yeah. And you define competence as, what was it?
Performance and capability.
Okay. And then break down performance and capability. Like, what do you look at?
Yeah, so...
like, performance is obvious. They can sell. They can rip.
Yeah. Capabilities, they bring the skill sets, experience, and expertise. And so here's a controversial thought in just talent acquisition. I believe great talent, if you want to scale, I believe great talent is found, not created.
I agree.
And so what most of us try to do is we try to go get people, and then we try to like teach them and train them and build them up, which happens. Yeah. But the minority of the time. And so what if you could actually just skip all that and just go get people that are already there? And so what if I could already get people that bring the expertise, they have the experience, and they already have the results, and they have the character? I just skipped years of work. And so I'm always interested in how can I, back to skipping grades, this is a good way to skip grades, how can I skip grades, and rather than saying, let me go get 20 rookies that I can develop, how can I just time travel 3 years ahead and just go get a couple people that already have the capability, the experience, and results, and then
how would you target and head
years of time?
I would agree. How would you target and head in?
You have to have a vision and mission that's intriguing and attractive enough for them to come.
Agreed.
Period. That's. I could give you a bunch of like incremental things, but that's the most exponential thing I could give you. If the vision and mission is attractive enough for somebody at that caliber to come, then you're 90% of the way there. The other 10, 15% is just align the incentives and compensation and making sure that it's where it needs to be.
Where do you think people are lacking on the vision and the clarity there?
They're all saying the same thing.
How so?
So if I were to go to 15 door-to-door companies, cool, what's the vision of the company? It's, to go from 100 reps to 200 reps or whatever, and it's either too small.
X amount of sales,
yeah, do this many accounts or this much revenue. It's either too small or it's just not meaningful. And so that's why the distinction between vision and mission is like, what's the quantification of a goal? So our company, we want to go from 0 to 120 million in 2.5 years. It's the vision. The mission is we want to go normalize scale for the first time in history of the world. We want to actually be able to bring the formula. This is how you 10x your company in 3 years or less. So that vision is going to be attractive for a lot of people because that's like really it's exponential scale. But then the mission is like where you anchor them in. And so a lot of sales companies, they have a good vision. Oftentimes it's too small, but let's just say hypothetically it's really big and good. But they're missing the mission piece, which doesn't anchor them in. And so both have to exist in order for it to be an effective frame for them to want to say yes to your opportunity and come in and be recruited by you.
Regarding vision, would you say what if it's too lofty and unbelievable? You know, like if we were to say, hey, target's now $1 billion. Like some guys would be like, hell yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But then some are like, all right. I know that's part. This is not me just trying to speak out of like limiting belief. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah. So I think it's a good filter for two things. One, in this scenario, so let's say your company has been around for 10 years and you're at 20 million. Yeah. And you're like, we're going to go to $1 billion.
Right.
Your argument is just completely obsolete.
Yeah.
But if you're like a year in, 2 years in, and you're growing, you're like, dude, we're going to go to $1 billion. And your past year or two has already established that there's a possibility that trajectory could come true, then I'll believe you. And so your past credibility and your past results give merit to whatever the goal is. So that's one. And then secondly, it can serve as a really big filter. And so if you have a super aggressive goal and they're like, I'm not into it, or I don't believe that, it's like, cool, wrong guy.
Yeah.
Because I want to build a cult of people that are like, bro, 120.
I want to build. Let's go. Let's build the empire.
Yeah, I'm all in. I've got no doubt. I don't want anyone that has any doubts.
I like it. What's your advice on compensation for high-level leaders, like those big dogs? Like, are you thinking profit sharing is what I've kind of defaulted to, what I've been mentored on. Some say, I've had some guys at the top of the food chain, I won't mention names, saying just profit share, don't do anything else. I've seen people win on both sides. You know, what's your take on it? I know it could go both ways.
Yeah, there's 100 ways to skin the cat, right? Yeah. The best answer is what's most aligned for them and their future self. Because there are people that's like, dude, I actually don't want the ownership thing.
Yeah, they don't.
I just maximize my income.
Yeah.
Great.
Profit share.
Okay. And so I'd be foolish to say this is the one size fit all.
Okay.
Understand their wants and needs, understand their future, and then reverse engineer from there, and then put the best incentives forward.
I like that, Blake. So if somebody's hungry, they want equity, they want all the things, how would you stress test that?
Reverse engineer mathematically how through their performance they could give it and you still get a return on investment on it, and make it 100% contingent upon their performance.
Simplify that.
So I want equity. Cool. Yeah, you and every single other person, buddy. But I will absolutely give you equity. Here's just the things that you need to do in order for that to be triggered. So I don't give anybody anything until it's actually earned. Nothing's given here. And so if you want equity, you can get equity, and it will actually scale according to your contribution. So if you can go get me $50 million of revenue, cool, we'll give you a couple % here. You'll give me another 50, we'll give you a couple more %, so on and so forth. And so just make it work mathematically where it's like, yeah, dude, we'll get you what you need. I just need to make sure that the business gets a return on that.
Yeah, make it a win.
And we'll absolutely pay for it.
Okay, I'm changing gears a little bit. I'm curious to ask you this. Of all the things that you've taught, that you've seen with business owners, that has like had a profound impact where you're like, Blake, this has changed our business, this one thing or these couple principles. And I know they play in harmony together. And I know it's hard to identify one, but have you seen a trend with like, okay, there's a couple core things of like this one thing is a game changer for people, and so it might be off people's radar or they underplay it maybe?
It's probably underplayed. One that comes to mind immediately is just the use of partnerships. And so I could tell you 6 stories right now of how one of our members in our company, one partnership, 5, 10x, 20, 30, 40x their company. One partnership.
I believe it.
All the time, dude. And so, but people approach partnerships wrong.
They kind of have like the pre-frame of like what's the perfect fit.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
yo, you don't fit my world.
Yeah, or it's like, here's what works for me. Or it's like, dude,
Yeah,
you
that's not
can't
how it
think like
goes.
that. It's
Yeah.
like, go make it an insane no-brainer for them,
Yeah.
and then figure out how
I
we're
agree.
going to make it best for you. And so everybody wants to do partnerships, and everyone thinks about that, but very rarely do we actually spend time pursuing them, even though they're highest leverage, and then also spending the time understanding exactly what would need to be true for it to be the most synergistic and mutually beneficial partnership. So that's one. If you want to go scale exponentially, it's through partnerships, but understand how to make it as mutually beneficial as possible for both parties. And then two, just the power of saying no to everything that's not the thing. Let me give an example. I was at 3 months ago, I went to Real Salt Lake when Messi came. And I remember just watching Messi. I'm kind of obsessed with just like people that are the top of their craft. And I just want to study them. I just was watching the Michael Jackson movie, and I just was so like entranced, you know? And so I went to this Messi match in Real Salt Lake, and I just watched him the whole game. I didn't care about the ball. And I was so shocked to see that he walks majority of the game. I was like, what the heck? This doesn't make sense. And then as I began like thinking deeper about it, I did research. 75% of the game he walks. LeBron James does the same thing. And the reason why they do that is because they only put time, energy, and effort into the thing that's going to make them the most successful to win the game. And so Messi, wouldn't put any energy or effort or any walk or running or jogging into anything that wasn't going to set himself or his teammates up to score a goal to win the game. And so the same thing has to be true as a business owner. We just did a national research study. Only 36% of the average owner's time is spent on things that actually create scale for the company. So 64% of our time is spent probably on maintenance or just things that don't even matter. Elon Musk asked a question. If you ask yourself, what did you do this last week? What would your answer be? I think if people actually began looking like, what did I actually accomplish in the last week, month, year? There'd only be like one thing, two things, maybe three things.
Because you get so lost in the mundane running.
And so what if you just only spent time on that one thing, on the 36%, and you eliminated the 64? That's how you create scale, my friend. It's to say no a lot
principle.
more.
Yeah, 100%. I've seen that. And it's not just delegating and hiring people. Like, that's part of the game.
Sure.
You've got to have clarity on, okay, like what lights you up? Where do you bring massive value? Kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, the hedgehog.
The hedgehog, yeah. And what gives you disproportionate leverage, you know? Like LeBron and Messi, their high leverage was scoring. And they just go, when they see it, it's like full send, right? And so that energy conservation, some sense, right?
Yeah, totally.
It allows them to lock in and win. For me, just kind of like bringing this up on this, I actually did this a couple months back. I was looking at auditing my time and like what are my highest leverage skill sets and abilities, right? And I realized after doing the process, I won't summarize everything that I wrote down, but one thing of where I wasn't like realizing the impact on everything, like it wasn't even on my list of like, okay, this is a big pillar. And it sounds cliche, it sounds dumb, but it's actually learning, reading. And here's why, okay? One of the big drivers for me, I could see the funnel building no matter what I do on the power of content and branding, okay? And a lot of the ideas come from what I learn. And building and running the business, has multiple prongs, right? And so I realized like a lot of it was bottlenecked on my learning and growth. And so it actually gave me a justification to like, no, I have to do this to be effective. Not just running the business, not just be smart, not just to say, oh, I read a lot of books. Like there's no ego about that. I don't care. I actually cringe when guys say I read X amount of books. And I'm like, what did you execute on?
Correct.
You know, and so it's pretty like, okay, I don't care if I read a page or 40 pages. Like, did I extract something that I can implement? And so by doing that process, slowing down, it's not saying I'm doing 4 hours of reading a day, but it's like, okay, it's very intentional now. Part of my time, I realize it's actually a high leverage that affects multiple other things. It has a domino effect, right?
So good.
And so, but also part of that game, if I'm rushing to like go be multi-millionaire the next 1-2 years, there's no way I'm going to play that game, man. There's no way, you know? And so sometimes the answer for people is like slow down that horizon of the rush of like, I have to have X by this time. I think that's good for some sense. But if I'm trying to build the biggest thing in 2 years, I ain't touching a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to play big in 5-10 years, it's a different game. You know, that can compound. It has the time to pay off. So, yeah, I love the clarity before speed is kind of how I summarize what you're saying.
So good, dude. And just to your point, this concept around like, oh, I read so many books.
It's cringe. Do you feel the same way?
To me, it's just more about like, cool.
Yeah.
Do you care about achievement or do you care about activity?
Yeah.
And so I'm not even pointing out the book thing, but just in general, how much of the time do we actually fall victim to this? It's like, oh, we're just bragging about activity.
Yeah.
I don't care about
cringe.
activity.
Yeah.
What's the result? What's the achievement?
Exactly. Yeah, you have to obsess on that.
Yeah.
I love that, bro. Well, this has been awesome. For anybody in sales, like if you could take the principles from here, I really love what you said about vision, but anything else that you didn't bring up here that could be pivotal from what you guys teach in the science of scaling?
Yeah, one of the last concepts of the book is just this idea of focus. Steve Jobs once said, focus is saying no to 1,000 things. And it really is true. And so if you are in sales, the person that is going to win over the long term is the person that says no the most. And I want you to hear this because you're going to start making money and people are going to approach you and say, hey, come invest in this. Yeah. Let's do this side hustle. Let's put money here. Let's do da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And the moment you choose to say yes, you immediately dilute yourself.
Time and energy.
And now you're no longer going to go become a master at that one thing. And so if you look at anybody that has become a master, become exceptional, they just continually said no to everything but that one thing that they were trying to become a master at. I guarantee this is how you got phenomenal at sales.
Yeah, same thing.
And so be careful when you succeed of anything that's going to actually dilute your energy, focus, or bandwidth, and it's going to eventually slay the golden goose that's laying the golden eggs. Protect that at all costs. And just lean into your mastery. Don't dilute yourself. Don't do the side hustle. Stop doing, dude, all these people that do door-to-door and they brag about all these different things that they're doing. I was one of them. It's the worst strategy in the freaking world.
It is.
And so just go be focused, and I promise you're going to go get exponential returns year after year if you do so.
Yeah. You have to delay gratification. You have to understand there's going to be time with it.
Yes.
But you're spot on. I've made the mistake so many times in my 20s.
Dude.
So many times. Yeah.
I was the king of it.
It plagued me. So really good.
Everyone was telling us that. It's like, that's what you do. You go make money and then you go buy a bunch of real estate. They didn't tell you, though, that all that time and energy you put into real estate, you're no longer putting on your craft, and so you actually fall behind in the competition.
Yeah. There's an opportunity cost on even the time of investing.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd say I play that game probably more aggressive than most people. And so on paper right now, like my mid-30s, like going into 35, 36, we'll see. But like 34 at least next year, like it could say it's not as sexy. But I promise, like I know the compounding game of going on all in on the business, and me, it'll compound. It's risky, it's scary though. But yeah, it's so funny. They say, people get lost in the, most millionaires are diversified with 6-7 assets, but they got there on 1 or 2 streams of income, not 7.
Always.
It's so common sense. Well, that's good, dude. I love it.
Bro, it's so good being with you. You're such a stud. I admire you a ton.
Likewise. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Well, where can people find you? On Instagram, on social?
Follow me at the Blake Erickson on Instagram.
Okay.
And then my gift is, not even my gift, but please go download the Science of Scaling for free. It's scaling.com/free download. I'd love for everybody to be able to read the book.
Let's go.